Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, was known for her intelligence, charm, and love of animals. Her affinity for the natural world was legendary, and it was reflected in every corner of her opulent palace. Her palace was not just a home, but a living, breathing zoo. It was a sanctuary where the boundaries between the wild and the civilized blurred, creating a unique environment that was both enchanting and awe-inspiring. The walls of her palace were adorned with hieroglyphs depicting nature and wildlife, a testament to her power and fascination with the natural world. These intricate carvings told stories of her reign and her deep connection to the creatures that roamed her lands. Imagine walking through gardens filled with exotic birdsong, where every step you take is accompanied by the vibrant colors and sounds of nature. These gardens were meticulously designed to be a haven for both the animals and the people who visited them. Picture leopards lounging in the shade of towering palms, their sleek bodies blending seamlessly with the lush surroundings. These majestic creatures were not just for show. They were a symbol of Cleopatra's dominion over the natural world. Cleopatra's zoo was not just a collection of caged animals. It was a carefully curated environment where animals could roam freely in open enclosures that mimicked their natural habitats. This approach was revolutionary for its time and demonstrated Cleopatra's progressive thinking. The zoo was a symbol of her dominion over the known world. Each animal, from the smallest bird to the largest elephant, represented the vast reach of her empire. These creatures were more than just inhabitants of her palace. They were living symbols of her power and influence. Each creature, from the smallest bird to the largest elephant, represented the vast reach of her empire. These animals were not just pets. They were status symbols, gifts from foreign dignitaries eager to curry her favor. The more exotic the animal, the greater the tribute to her power. They were status symbols, gifts from foreign dignitaries eager to curry her favor. The more exotic the animal, the greater the tribute to her power. These gifts were a testament to her influence and the respect she commanded from leaders around the world. The more exotic the animal, the greater the tribute to her power. These animals were not just tokens of admiration. They were symbols of alliances and political relationships. Each new addition to her menagerie was a reminder of her far-reaching influence. But Cleopatra's interest in animals went beyond mere display. She was fascinated by their behavior, their unique abilities, and their potential uses. Her curiosity drove her to learn more about these creatures and their roles in the natural world. She was fascinated by their behavior, their unique abilities, and their potential uses. Cleopatra saw animals as more than just beautiful creatures. She saw them as beings with their own intelligence and capabilities. This perspective was ahead of its time and showcased her innovative thinking. Her zoo was, in many ways, a laboratory for studying the natural world. It was a place where she could observe and learn from the animals, gaining insights that were valuable for both her personal knowledge and her reign as a ruler. She employed a team of animal handlers, trainers, and even researchers who helped her understand and interact with her diverse menagerie. These experts were crucial in maintaining the well-being of the animals and ensuring that Cleopatra could continue her studies. Cleopatra's interactions with her animals were a reflection of her leadership style. She was not just a ruler who commanded respect. She was a leader who sought to understand and connect with the world around her. This approach made her a beloved and respected figure in history. Cleopatra's legacy as a lover of animals and a pioneer in the study of the natural world continues to inspire us today. Her unique approach to leadership and her deep connection to the natural world set her apart as one of history's most fascinating figures. Modern-day zoos and wildlife sanctuaries owe much to Cleopatra's vision. Her innovative approach to animal care and her dedication to understanding the natural world laid the groundwork for contemporary efforts in animal conservation and research. Cleopatra's enduring influence on our relationship with animals is a testament to her forward-thinking and compassionate nature. Her legacy reminds us of the importance of respecting and protecting the natural world, a lesson that is more relevant today than ever before. The animals in Cleopatra's zoo were as diverse as the lands she ruled. Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt, was known for her intelligence, political acumen, and her love for exotic animals. Her zoo was a reflection of her vast empire and her fascination with the natural world. Lions, symbols of strength and royalty, roamed in specially built enclosures. These majestic creatures were not just for show, they represented the power and authority of the queen herself. The enclosures were designed to mimic their natural habitat, ensuring that the lions felt at home while also showcasing their grandeur to visitors. Crocodiles, revered and feared in Egyptian culture, basked in pools that mimicked the Nile River. These ancient reptiles were considered sacred and were often associated with the god Sobek, who was believed to have the power to protect the people and ensure fertility. The pools were carefully constructed to provide a safe and comfortable environment for these powerful creatures. Monkeys chattered from the trees, their playful antics a source of amusement for the queen and her court. These intelligent and curious animals were a delight to watch, and their presence added a touch of liveliness to the otherwise serene palace grounds. The monkeys were often seen swinging from branches, playing with each other, and even interacting with the visitors. Birds of paradise, with their vibrant plumage, added splashes of color to the palace gardens. These exotic birds were not only beautiful to look at, but also served as a symbol of the queen's far-reaching influence. The gardens were meticulously maintained to provide a suitable habitat for these birds, allowing them to thrive and display their stunning feathers. Their exotic songs filled the air, transporting listeners to distant lands. The melodious calls of these birds created a serene and enchanting atmosphere, making the palace gardens a place of tranquility and beauty. Visitors would often spend hours listening to the birds, captivated by their harmonious tunes. It is even said that Cleopatra kept trained parrots who could mimic human speech, greeting visitors with witty phrases in multiple languages. These parrots were a marvel to behold, showcasing the queen's ability to train and domesticate even the most exotic of creatures. The parrots would often entertain guests with their clever imitations, adding an element of surprise and delight to their visits. These animals served multiple purposes. They were not only a testament to Cleopatra's wealth and power, but also played a significant role in the cultural and religious life of ancient Egypt. Each animal had its own unique significance and was carefully chosen to reflect the queen's interests and beliefs. Some, like the lions and leopards, were symbols of her power and authority. These majestic creatures were often depicted in art and sculpture, representing the strength and dominance of the queen. Their presence in the zoo was a constant reminder of Cleopatra's formidable rule and her ability to command respect and admiration. Others, like the monkeys and birds, provided entertainment and companionship. These animals brought joy and amusement to the palace, creating a lively and vibrant atmosphere. They were a source of endless fascination for the queen and her court, offering a glimpse into the wonders of the natural world. They were a constant source of wonder and amusement, a testament to the queen's wealth and influence. Cleopatra's zoo was not just a collection of animals. It was a symbol of her reign, her interests, and her ability to bring the exotic and the extraordinary into the heart of her kingdom. The zoo was a living, breathing representation of the queen's legacy, a place where the natural and the regal coexisted in perfect harmony. Among all the animals associated with Cleopatra, none are as iconic as the snake. The snake, particularly the cobra, held a special place in the heart of ancient Egyptian culture and mythology. Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt, was well aware of the powerful symbolism that the snake carried. In Egyptian mythology, snakes were powerful symbols of royalty, rebirth, and protection. They were often depicted in hieroglyphs and artwork, representing the divine and the eternal. The snake's ability to shed its skin was seen as a metaphor for renewal and transformation, qualities that were highly valued in ancient Egyptian society. The cobra, with its deadly venom and imposing hood, was particularly revered. Its image was a common motif in Egyptian art and architecture, symbolizing both danger and protection. The cobra's hood, when expanded, was seen as a shield, a protective barrier against evil forces. It was believed to be the protector of the pharaoh, its image adorning the royal headdress. The uraeus, a stylized upright form of an Egyptian cobra, was worn on the headdresses of pharaohs and deities, signifying their divine authority and protection by the gods. This powerful symbol was meant to ward off enemies and protect the ruler from harm. Cleopatra understood the power of this symbolism. She was a shrewd and intelligent leader who knew how to use symbols to her advantage. By associating herself with the cobra, she aligned herself with the divine protection and authority that the snake represented. Snakes were not just creatures to be feared, but also respected and even venerated. In many ways, they were seen as guardians of the land and the people. The dual nature of the snake, both deadly and protective, made it a fitting symbol for a ruler like Cleopatra, who was both feared and revered. She is said to have kept several species of snakes in her palace, not just for display, but also for their venom. These snakes were carefully tended to and studied, their venom collected and used for various purposes. Cleopatra's interest in snakes was not merely superficial, it was deeply rooted in her understanding of their symbolic and practical value. She was fascinated by the properties of poisons, their ability to both heal and harm. In ancient Egypt, poisons were used in medicine, rituals, and even in political intrigue. Cleopatra's knowledge of poisons and their effects was extensive, and she used this knowledge to her advantage in her political and personal life. Her interest in snakes went beyond their symbolic value. Cleopatra was a keen observer and a scientist in her own right. she conducted experiments with snake venom, studying its effects on both animals and humans. This scientific approach to understanding the natural world was ahead of her time and demonstrated her intellectual curiosity and resourcefulness. She experimented with their venom, studying its effects on both animals and humans. Her experiments were not just for academic interest, they had practical applications as well. Cleopatra used her knowledge of venom to create poisons that could be used for both medicinal and lethal purposes. This dual use of venom highlights the complexity of her character and her ability to navigate the fine line between life and death. Some historians believe she may have even used snake venom in her own beauty rituals, or as a means of execution, a testament to her ruthlessness and cunning. Cleopatra's use of snake venom in her beauty treatments was not just about enhancing her appearance. It was also a way to demonstrate her control over life and death. This ruthless and cunning use of venom underscores the lengths to which she would go to maintain her power and influence. Cleopatra's fascination with the natural world extended beyond animals to encompass plants and their properties. She was a keen observer of nature, fascinated by the medicinal and cosmetic uses of herbs, flowers, and resins. Her palace gardens were not just places of beauty, but also experimental grounds for her botanical interests. She is said to have worked closely with her physicians and perfumers, experimenting with different plants to create new fragrances, cosmetics, and even poisons. Her knowledge of botany was not just a hobby, but a valuable tool in her arsenal of power. Her experiments with poisons were particularly well known. She is said to have tested different concoctions on prisoners, studying their effects and recording her observations. Her knowledge of poisons was both feared and respected, adding to her mystique and reputation as a powerful and dangerous woman.